There are gardening tricks that quietly circulate for years, used by old-school growers who rarely explain their methods. Then there are discoveries that jolt you awake the moment you see the results. This rice method belongs to the second group. I learned it from a gardener who swore his worm population doubled in size and his soil turned noticeably richer within weeks. I tried it myself in a struggling bed that had been refusing to respond to compost, manure or mulch. What happened next convinced me that rice is one of the simplest, most overlooked soil activators a gardener can use. If you care about worm growth, soil texture, nutrient cycling or biological diversity, you'll want to know exactly why this method works and how to use it correctly. Rice releases the perfect carbohydrates to trigger rapid microbial expansion. The reason rice works so well has nothing to do with it being a food crop and everything to do with its structure. When rice is buried in soil, microbes zero in on its starch content. Starch is a highly accessible carbohydrate, far easier for microbes to digest than woody materials like straw, sawdust or corn stalks. This immediate digestibility triggers a rapid bloom of bacteria and fungi. When you bury a handful of rice in moderately moist soil, microbial activity begins within hours. If the soil is particularly depleted, the rice becomes the spark that wakes the biology back up. This microbial burst is exactly what worms follow. They aren't attracted to the rice itself. They're attracted to the rising biological activity around it. This is why the rice method works even in soil where worms haven't been seen for months. Worms respond to the new food source by increasing in size and number. Once the microbes begin their work, worms pick up the chemical signals and migrate toward the activity zone. The increase in worm size that many gardeners observe is not from eating rice directly, but from consuming the dense microbial coating that forms on the grains. This microbial layer is essentially protein-rich worm feed. A healthy worm population constantly gains weight when microbial food is abundant, which is why gardeners notice thicker worms and more castings in rice-treated soil. When worms feed more actively, their digestion improves, their castings increase, and the surrounding soil structure becomes looser and more nutrient-dense. This is why a single rice application can change the feel and colour of soil in a surprisingly short time. The method works best when rice is applied using the correct ratio and depth. Rice decomposes quickly, but it still needs proper placement. The best ratio is 1 cup of uncooked rice per 2 square feet of soil for severely depleted beds. If the soil is only mildly degraded, half a cup per 2 square feet is enough. The rice should be buried 3 to 5 inches deep. Too shallow, and it will attract pests. Too deep and oxygen levels drop, slowing decomposition. In raised beds, gardeners often mix rice into the lower third of the bed during seasonal refreshes. This helps maintain a consistent microbial presence without interfering with the root zone. In container gardens, a tablespoon or 2 of rice placed at the bottom of the pot beneath the soil also promotes long-term microbial health. So, moisture levels determine how quickly your rice activates the soil. Dry rice will just sit dormant if the soil around it stays dry. Moisture is, well, the key that unlocks the entire process. For the method to work, soil should be damp enough that a handful holds together lightly, without dripping water. This gives microbes what they need to begin digesting the starch. If your soil is extremely dry, water it deeply the day before adding rice. After burying the rice, water the area again to ensure the grains absorb moisture and soften. Once the rice swells, decomposition speeds up and worms begin responding. You can combine rice with other organic materials for even stronger results. Rice works exceptionally well on its own, but pairing it with a mild nitrogen source accelerates microbial growth even further. The best balanced ratio is 1 part nitrogen material to 6 parts rice by volume. Good examples include finished compost, green leaves, or a light handful of aged manure. This combination creates a balanced carbon-to-nitrogen environment that supports both fungal and bacterial growth. Avoid adding strong nitrogen sources like fresh manure or too many kitchen scraps, as these materials can overwhelm the system and cause temporary odour or anaerobic conditions. When the ratio is correct, the rice method produces a steady and controlled soil transformation. The long-term impact of the rice method can build permanent soil fertility. Many gardeners use rice only once as a revival tool, but those who apply it 2 or 3 times a year notice long-term benefits. Each cycle increases worm populations, which in turn increases soil aeration and natural fertilizer production through castings. Over time, the soil becomes darker, more crumbly and more moisture retentive. Beds treated consistently with rice eventually need fewer external amendments because worms and microbes maintain fertility year-round. This makes the method ideal for gardeners who want sustainable, low-input soil systems. The rice method offers a simple and powerful solution for gardeners rebuilding soil from the ground up. Whether you are restoring depleted soil, expanding worm populations, or building long-term fertility, rice offers a low-cost, high-impact method that even experienced gardeners often overlook. Its microbial boost, its ability to attract and feed worms, and its compatibility with other organic methods make it a powerful tool for any garden. If you've struggled with thin worms, stubborn soil, or low biological activity, this technique can change everything with minimal effort. If you found this guide valuable and want more field-tested, practical gardening methods that build real soil health, make sure you subscribe to Gentle Herb Living and share this video with fellow gardeners. The more we spread knowledge rooted in real practice, the healthier our gardens and our communities become.